Hey guys, Horror Man back for another review. So today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the brand new Wolverine figure, and this is part of the new X-Men Legends series. Now, this Marvel Legends series is the second recent wave of X-Men characters to hit. So you can see it does say Wolverine on the bottom here, but it's more of a Logan character as it represents Old Man Logan, which is in more of the recent Marvel comics. You can see a really cool picture of him on the side here, got the claws out, and it's pretty much the same image here. And then if you turn to the back, you can see a really cool picture of him with the claws out. And then if you want to go ahead and pause it, you can see a little short bio of Wolverine. Now the rest of the wave will actually build the Warlock figure, but unfortunately Logan does not come with any Build-A-Figure piece. So if you buy the Wolverine figure, you're really not going to get any pieces to this figure. It's more of just a cool character in the wave. And we saw the same thing with characters like Deadpool, where they didn't actually have a Build-A-Figure piece, but it was a very cool figure of the set. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this out of the box and get a closer look. Alright, so here's Logan out of the packaging. And for the most part, I think this is a really cool figure. Especially it's a good representation of Old Man Logan. I've definitely got a couple things I'm not huge on, like little gripes here and there. But for the most part, I really do like this figure. So let's go ahead and get a nice close-up of the head sculpt. Alright, so taking a look at the head sculpt, I think they've done a really good job here. Now somebody did point out to me that they could only see Cable when they look at this head sculpt, and he actually made a pretty good point. The Cable figure that came with the previous X-Men wave, which featured Deadpool, definitely had a, unfortunately I don't have the figure, so I can't give you a perfect comparison, but there's definitely similarities between that Cable figure and this Logan head sculpt. It's not exactly the same, but it's definitely has some similar facial features. Besides that, I do think it looks like Old Man Logan. I really like the sideburns they gave him here. Definitely a trademark for this character. Got a little bit of a paint flub on the head sculpt, so I guess beware of that. The ears also is like a little bit messed up, but not too bad. But overall, I definitely think the look is really good. They got the little hairdo here, and I like that he's got that kind of angry face. Now, the only really, my first gripe, at least, is I really wish they would have included an alternate head sculpt, either like an angry version of this. Maybe something similar to the picture on the side of the box for the Wolverine box here. You can see he's got a much more angrier face sculpt. So yeah, like maybe an angrier face would have been cool. But honestly, I think even, which would have been more cool, is a young Logan head sculpt. That would have been great to add to this. But unfortunately, we did not get any of that. So taking a look at the rest of the details on the figure, you can see he's got that standard Logan jacket, which I feel like I wish he would have had a trench coat as opposed to this jacket. The jacket's more of like vintage Logan, but in the Old Man Logan series, he has more of like a trench coat, which is significantly longer. But I do think it's a pretty cool looking coat. It's got that soft rubbery material. And he's got like this tighter button-down shirt underneath, and you can see his musculature here. And I think the actual, like the ab crunch doesn't look as bad on this figure. I don't know, maybe it's the color of the shirt or just the way they've done it. I think they've hit it better than most of the figures. I like this like sheep type of lining to the collar here. And then of course he does have the claws, and the claws are significantly better than the old Toy Biz ones, which were always bent. They do these to where they're individually put in. And I'm not going to pull these out, but you probably could remove them, but I can't say for sure, but I'm definitely not going to even attempt that because I'm afraid of breaking them. But they are pretty well made. I'm not afraid of like that they would snap at all. I just don't want to pull them out of the individual sockets. One of the things I really like about this is I like this belt buckle. They have painted it pretty nicely, and then you can see some little details in here, like a little design on the buckle itself. And even the belt looks really good. You can see like the stitching on the belt. You can see the holes and the little belt loops. So the actual details in this are really good. And the next thing I really like about the detailing on here is these boots. You can actually see the like little stitching in the cowboy boots and like lining. And I think that's really cool. I'm really glad they didn't scrap that from the sculpt and just give us these plain boots. I really like that they actually stitched, or at least put that stitching detail in there. So for the most part, I think this is a really good detailed figure. Now I definitely want to point this out. If you remember the last X-Men wave, you could build Juggernaut. And then in this wave you could build the Warlock, but if you notice, this Deadpool figure does not have a Build-A-Figure piece, and neither does the Logan figure. The difference is that this Deadpool figure contained pretty much everything under the sun. I mean, it has swords, guns, rocket launcher, chimichanga, extra head sculpt, knife. I mean, it's got everything. But this Logan figure, I mean, it just came with just Logan. I mean, there's nothing, not a single accessory. So that is definitely my biggest complaint about this figure, is that they didn't give us a single accessory with this. And I am glad they did more detailing with this, which is great. But I feel like they really should have gave us something, again, like a extra head sculpt or hands that were just fisted without the blades. Because realistically, in the Old Man Logan storyline, he doesn't really use his blades for a little bit in the comics, so it would have been accurate to give him some kind of gripping hand, because even if you want to give him an accessory, you can't have him hold it because he doesn't have gripping hands. So yeah, that's my biggest complaint about this figure. Okay, so going over the articulation with Logan, it's pretty much what you would expect at this point. He does have decent rotation on the head. He can look down about that far, and then he could look up about that far. You can get a little bit of a pivot, and then he can turn pretty well. The arms go out pretty far. Like that. And you're not going to have that like butterfly joint, I believe that's what it's called. You're not going to have that where it can go real far back and real far forward. You're only going to be able to go about that far forward out with the arms. You do have a joint here, of course. You can swivel here. You do have the double hinged elbows, which is really nice. You can get some really cool poses with the blades. And then you do have wrist. You can turn here, or you can go up and down. And then you have the ab crunch, which has that terrible clicking sound. You have a... It doesn't look like he can twist. If he can, it's locked, but I don't think I could twist the waist here for some reason. Got about that far with the legs. There's a thigh swivel. You have double hinged knees. And then the boots can go pretty far forward and down. And there is a little bit of a rocker in there. So yeah, decent amount of articulation. Not quite as good as the brown Wolverine costume, but good enough for Old Man. Okay, for the first comparison, here he is next to the brown costume Wolverine, and this was in the same X-Men wave as that Deadpool I just showed. And it looks great next to each other. The height is just about right. So yeah, no complaints. I think these look really cool next to each other. Again, you could see the articulation I was referring to with the Wolverine, how he has this unique joint. Again, I think it's called a butterfly joint, but you won't have that with this new Logan figure. And here he is next to the movie version of Black Panther from Civil War, and you can see that the Black Panther is taller, which is right because Wolverine definitely should be smaller. And here he is next to the Groot Build-A-Figure from the first Guardians of the Galaxy wave. And just for scale comparison, here he is next to the Hero Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead, made by NECA Toys, and that's in closer to a 7-inch scale. And here he is next to the movie version of Black Panther from Civil War, and you can see that the Black Panther is taller, which is right because Wolverine definitely should be smaller. Okay, so that's my review. All in all, I'm pretty happy with this, though I feel like they could have gave us a little bit more in the accessories department, but for the most part I think it's a really cool figure. If you're a fan of Logan or Wolverine, you're definitely going to want to pick this up. This is the first Logan figure we've had really representing the Old Man Logan story arc, so it definitely has a little bit of a unique sculpt to it. I will say that this was a little tough to find. Their Target stores are getting them first, it seems. You can ask for somebody maybe to check the back for you if you don't see it on the floor, but I did see them on one of the end caps toward the electronics department. It was still on the toy aisle end cap, but it was kind of like right by the electronics. So check the end caps at Target, and if you can't find this character specifically, maybe scan one of the other characters in the line and then just see if the price check says there's more in the back. They might have to check for you. But yeah, I think this is a really cool figure. Again, I really do wish they would have gave us a younger Logan head sculpt, or at least an angry head sculpt. I guess with the younger one, they would have to have like a different painted shirt, maybe a couple other things, but I still would have been fine with it. I don't care about those little gripes like that. I would just be happy to have some kind of accessory as opposed to nothing. So again, if you're a fan of the character, I would definitely recommend it. And now that Logan movie is coming out, I think this is really well timed, and it might be harder to find it because of that. So thanks for watching my review. Please subscribe, leave a comment or question if you want, like the video, and until next time guys, see ya.